And the other guy too. The scientist.
Right, yeah, the scientist.
The mission's primary goal has been achieved. We're looking at a large single cell, biological. I'd hate to jump the gun, but I think it's time. We're looking at the first proof of life beyond Earth.
You!
No, you're not going.
Get your goddamn hand off! What are we gonna do? There's a man there! That call is out the window! And your quarantine!
He could use the Force to influence the midi-chlorians to create.
Life was basically the most alright space horror movie you could kind of make. It didn't take any risks. It played it pretty safe. It played into a lot of the tropes that you get. But
definitely.
Yeah. But I guess you don't really have that many options when you're playing alien horror in a space station kind of a movie. Now, with that said, it wasn't a bad movie, though.
No, it was pretty good.
Yeah, I thought it was actually really entertaining for what it was. Its biggest shortcoming was probably that it was so kind of expectable as far as a alien space horror movie goes.
Yeah, I mean, it's predictable, obviously.
Yeah, the performances were great, I thought. All the casting was really nicely done.
Yeah, it was nice. Ryan Reynolds was pretty good.
Yeah.
Jake Gyllenhaal was pretty good.
Well, yeah.
Hiroyuki Sanada is always fun to see.
Yeah. I don't usually comment on casting, but I felt like it was really spot on, especially with like Jake Gyllenhaal's character.
Okay.
He plays a very like bony skeletal character, and he looks very bony and skeletal. The production design was great. Like it all looked really nice. Technically,
I like the design of the creature too.
Yeah, exactly. It was interesting. Nice to see something a little different. Very hentai in some ways.
Yeah, a little bit.
I did like some of the camera movement in the opening. There was a lot of like you had no perspective of up and down. That was really nice.
That opening long take was really great.
Yeah,
they do a long take, a quote unquote long take, not an actual one, but
I think it's like 90% CG probably.
Well, no, but it's one of those ones where you can tell there's one part where like a character will float really close to the camera and
they use that to transition cuts. Yeah,
but no, it was this really cool long take where they're taking you through the station and showing you where all of the instruments and everything is oriented and how it was cool.
Yeah, it was cool.
That.
And it kept throwing you off. People are sitting on the ceiling and then they're walking. Yeah, it was nicely done. So that was cool. And then again, the alien, like you said, was an interesting design.
Yeah.
However, I feel like the most interesting part of that alien was the whole evolution thing at the beginning. We see it go from a single-celled organism to this, multi-celled thing.
At the beginning of the movie, it really reminded me of, this is going to sound a little bit silly, but bear with me. It really reminded me of Cell from Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
And also Majin Buu as well, to a certain extent.
Oh, yeah.
Both villains that can sort of take themselves apart. That if you destroy all of them except for one cell, they would still survive, and each one can operate independently. They can absorb other beings to become more powerful, and this alien does all of that.
Exactly.
So it's basically the movie Alien, but the creature they're fighting is Cell.
Yeah, basically, and I just wish they kept that going for longer. It just kind of stopped halfway through the movie. It would have been really cool if it actually adapted to
once it hit a certain size, it was sort of just the same creature, but each time you saw it was bigger.
Exactly, it became the thing that was chasing them around and just growing. Exactly, and I do have to say though, on the topic of the alien and the whole evolution thing, what was up with that cheesy alien vision?
Alien vision. Wow, yeah, that was in one scene.
It happened twice or thrice, and the first time I was like, all right, really? I'll let it slide. Yeah, and the second time I had thermal vision or something, and it made me cringe because it was such a great movie. It was shot and the narration, like not vocally, but in terms of visually through the camera, it was so nicely done otherwise in terms of the angles they were picking and everything, and the way it was, obstructing things, etc. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, 2 or 3 times you get alien vision, and it's like, why?
The first person view was a little jarring.
Yeah, I would go as far as to say ridiculous. But with all that said, I mean, great movie. It was a great watch. I had a great time.
Yeah, it was
sitting
fun.
through it.
I enjoyed it quite a lot. There's a bunch of references to Alien as well. I mean, aside from the whole plot being lifted from Alien, the creature positions itself right in front of people's faces and opens its multiple mouths and sort of smirks at it in the same way.
Yeah.
The final female survivor leaves an audio log at the end of the movie.
Oh, yeah.
Just like Ripley did in Alien.
No kitty cat, though.
No, there was no cat. Jonesy was not in this movie.
No, unfortunately.
Or Shithead or whatever his name is.
And you little shithead. You're staying here.
In fact, the opening title is even the same, where it's
the
word "life" is spread out throughout the entire screen, and there's a whole lot of kerning in between each letter.
Yeah. The only thing it's missing is like the slow reveal of the letters.
Yeah, it didn't have that. Although I gotta say again, I think for essentially being a bunch of space truckers, the crew of the Nostromo were dealing with that creature a lot more intelligently than these people were in this movie.
Yeah.
For a crew whose primary mission seems to be containment, there were an awful lot of them breaking the containment rules constantly throughout the film.
Or at least trying their best to, including the designers who built the goddamn containment centers.
Yeah.
Didn't really think it through. I will say, though, when it's a science fiction movie, I'm more forgiving of, when it's a movie where the science isn't real, I'll buy it. But when it's pretending to be real, that's when I have issues.
I mean, this movie was supposed to be just like 2 or 3 years in the future.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. Like, if
all the technology seemed pretty reasonable.
Yeah, no, what I mean is, so when they were doing, spacewalks and stuff, you know, space was silent. It tried to be pretty real in terms of how it treated space. So when
one thing that I did
happens,
appreciate in terms of that was that it's one of the few set in outer space movies that I've seen that actually addresses muscle entropy.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
You don't see that very often.
No, not at all. Yeah, that's true. That's the thing. It had so many nice little touches when it came to the science bit. Even when they were first experimenting with the alien, they were talking about... They were being intelligent. They were being scientists, and I really appreciated that.
Now, that said, there were some really fucking stupid moments as well. Should we get into spoilers?
Yeah, I think we're safe to get into spoilers. Let's go for it.
All of this could have been avoided if Ryan Reynolds wasn't such a fucking dumbass. So the creature, as soon as they realize that it's hostile, Ryan Reynolds flings the door open and heads into the contamination chamber to I guess
rescue his scientist buddy.
Yeah, to rescue his buddy, which is sure you're emotional, your friend is dying, and it's not like they didn't know either. They kept bringing up the quarantine issue over and over and over again, but they were just so bad to sticking to that.
So here's the thing. Now, I'm totally with you on that. 100% agree. But, understandable. I understand why a human being in the situation might kind of bend their, resolve and do something stupid. Let's give him that. But the guys that designed the chamber that was meant to isolate a potential alien species, why is that connected in any way to the rest of the ship? Like, they have the air sprinklers or whatever. The ventilation system shouldn't be connected to the rest of the ship when you know it's a space meant to harbor a potential alien. That was dumb on another level.
Yeah, it seemed like if they were expecting to find alien life, they should have had a better facility prepared. Why is there a fucking flamethrower in the biology research room?
I guess to fry a potential alien.
Ryan Reynolds busts into this room and he's like, "Permission to fucking kill it, please." And then he's like, "I'll use the fucking flamethrower that's attached to the wall." And he pulls out the flamethrower and starts fucking blowing it all over the...
God.
Everywhere. Why is there a flamethrower on a space station at all?
Yeah, no.
Let alone in the fucking biology research room.
But then the smarter thing to do, which, even cavemen figured out, was to throw fire at the alien and back away towards the exit. That would have been the smart thing to do.
Or just not enter the room with the hostile alien life form that just devoured a mouse and broke your friend's hand that started off as a single cell 20 days ago.
Yeah, that would also probably be an intelligent move not to do that.
Yeah. There were some other small problems I had with it. There's a bunch of parts where they're inconsistent with the weightlessness. Like when they first pull biologist man out of the room.
Right.
And his hand is all crippled. You can see it dangling.
Oh yeah, that's true. I didn't actually realize that.
But, I mean, those are minor errors. I mean, certainly there are science fiction films that do worse than that. There was some stuff in there they were trying to get a little bit deeper with. There was a few references to themes of like nihilism, or I don't know what you would call that, the belief that humanity is just shitty in general. Jake Gyllenhaal says at one point that he likes being up in space because
he doesn't like any of the 8 billion people on Earth.
And there's a few lines like that too. Somebody talks about how the life form isn't evil, it's just killing them because that's what it's supposed to do.
It's what it has to survive, yeah.
Yeah, and it actually ends with the alien reaching Earth.
Right, yeah. They basically had their prime directive, as it was, was to make sure that any alien they found didn't get to Earth, and in the end, with a misdirect that at first I didn't buy, I was like, oh, this is so predictable.
I kind of realized as soon as you didn't see
the interior shots.
So so it comes down to basically Jake Gyllenhaal and the British lady are the only 2 survivors left, and
they have to use these escape pods to get away, and they're basically freezing, all the life support's dead. Yeah, so they get into these escape pods, they bait the alien in using oxygen, because it needs oxygen. Again, I think that was pretty nicely done, it was clever.
Okay, they set up and they kept talking about the fact that it needed oxygen, and yet it seems to survive in the vacuum of space with absolutely no difficulty. And they continue to bring up it needing oxygen to survive even after that happens.
I think it was because so even when it was out in the vacuum of space, they were kind of talking about how long do you think it can hold its breath.
So Jake Gyllenhaal's plan is to send himself and the creature off into space, and she's gonna land back on Earth safely. Well, it doesn't work out. She actually gets sent off into space.
Yeah, because she gets hit by some debris from earlier.
Yeah, and the creature with Jake Gyllenhaal land on Earth and subsequently, I guess, contaminate the Earth. I really hope they make a sequel to this. Because if you're following the Alien formula, the first one is a sort of an isolated incident on a ship in space. And it's like a horror survival movie, which is the same thing. It's the same exact movie as this one. And Aliens, the sequel, was just a balls to the wall fucking action movie. And they could totally go that route with this movie, with this franchise. Or it's not a franchise yet. They could totally
make it a franchise.
They could totally go that route with this.
I don't know. I think I'd rather it just is left as a one-off, because it was a nice, contained, pun not intended, story. Where you kind of had a beginning, middle, and end, and the ending is bleak.
And that could actually open up. What if they make a sequel to this, and it's 6 months later, and the alien has killed like a fucking third of the population of Earth or something, and it's just a fucking action movie now? I think that would be cool.
I think if it had to have a sequel, I'd rather it be like a year later, and the alien has wiped out Earth, and we're following the last 6 survivors or the last 30 survivors, because they could technically repopulate the Earth. I would prefer that, because then it stays a horror movie. I don't want it to be an action movie. I guess it could be good either way, really.
Yeah.
I mean, they would be a completely different movie, but that's
definitely
not terrible. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. It was. I mean, for an Alien ripoff, I've seen worse Alien ripoffs.
That's true,
I mean, this was a decent... It was better than Prometheus.
Yeah, oh god, by miles.
Yeah.
By miles. Again, like I said, it's sort of like the most all-right space station horror movie you could make.
Yeah.
I feel like we're sounding a lot more negative about this movie.
I think we're ragging on this movie too much. It's a decent movie.
Yeah.
It's a good sci-fi thriller horror film.
Yeah, exactly. Like, definitely worth a watch. I mean, it's nothing...
Maybe don't see it in theaters,
yeah,
but...
Like nothing to write home about, per se.
Oh, and if you haven't seen Alien, watch that instead. Alien's better.
Yeah.
But...
Yeah, if you haven't seen Alien, what the hell are you doing? Go watch it, like, right now.
Yeah. So I would recommend it.
Oh, yeah, same here. I'd definitely give it a watch again. Or, when it's out on, like, Blu-ray or something.
Yeah.
Not going back to theaters.
Come back again next week, and we're going to be having ourselves another bull session.
Yeah, for sure. Or, you can always stick around and watch the old ones again. And
that's true.
Let us know what you think about these movies when you get a chance to watch them. Drop a like, drop a comment.
Yeah, leave us a comment. Tell us what you thought. Tell us we're fucking idiots.
Or that you love us. Either way works.
Yeah, I mean, either or.
And in the meanwhile, hang in there.
Follow us on Twitter and all the other things.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, do follow us on Twitter and the things. All links in the description below. Until the next bull session.
See ya.
Thank you guys for joining us.
Take care. Take care.
Take care.
Fuck it. Take care. weird thing to say. That can be the outro clip.